15 seconds. 10, 9, 8,
Yes.
7,
But I can go get it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
4, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3.
Here we are, Corpus Christi, Texas, IOM 2025 Nationals. Had a tough go waiting for wind. Here we are, January 17th, 1:47. Been waiting for wind since 10 a.m. this morning.
Okay, well I can bring this stuff in.
Finally getting the fourth heat coming in as Mr. Sean Fiddler in the 91 Vickers boat, I believe, out there on the outside. Mr. Bratzer in the 64 boat coming up the middle. Tony Gonzalez 51 boat coming up here the right side of the course. It's Jim Sears, boy with a dream, out of Capistrano Beach, California, making his way to the windward as we head upwind. Got Mr. Steve Landau there in the 12 boat coming up. All the usual suspects here. This is the A fleet. We had a seating race, and this is the second heat of the second race, I guess. As we all head to the windward, as I try to look at my teeny tiny viewfinder and give you guys some, it's like people trying to do the right thing, tacking on to starboard, coming in the windward mark, lots of port tackers, lots of crossing. It's like Steve has gotten the highest up there. Let's go head to the windward mark. Gonna look through my viewfinder. I'd look at both things. I look at the boats, look at the viewfinder. Sometimes I'm not pointed at what I'm talking about, so not sure who got around first out there. Probably Mr. Fiddler in the 91 boat, followed by Steve Landau in the 1-2, also known as 12. Steve gives you the 1-2 punch out there, longtime IOM sailor, one of the early adopters of the class out of Pooler, Georgia. I think he started out in San Diego, migrated across. Sean Fiddler out of the great state of Michigan, coming down in the orange V12, I think. Don't quote me on that. Steve Landau, followed by Tony Gonzalez. 7-6 boat, I forget who that is. 44, Peter Feldman in 5th place. 197, Chris Macaluso, Tomball, Texas. Bratzer out of Florida, followed by Ulf in the 112 boat, 3D printed boat. Via Sweden, via Florida, via Texas, wherever he's at. Let's go back and check on the leaders. Sean tries to hold off Steve as the pressure has built. Our first run downwind. Steve and Sean stay out in the pressure a little bit. Finally got a course set. It's been challenging for race committee and racers, but we're off to racing now. Steve and Sean go to the outside. Oaks to the inside. Tony, 7-6 boat. Barr looks like he's in 5th in the 6-4 boat. I think Barr's in a V12 also. Peter Feldman, the 4-4 boat, the Black Viz, also known as Dark Helmet. As we head upwind, never count Peter out. No lead is safe from Mr. Feldman, the dark helmet assassin. Where'd the boats go?
They did a plastic punch up with the top and then went down and hit it before the start, so I wouldn't touch that.
And Steve tries to cover the whole fleet, sailing up the middle. Bar going on a flyer to the outside in the pressure, followed by Mr. Macaluso. Just tacks in as we head up to the windward mark for the second time. Steve Landau gets a little bit of lead over Sean Fiddler in the 9-1 boat. Steve in the 1-2 boat. 7-6. Where's my cheat sheet? Got to figure out who the 1-6 boat is. As I watch this A fleet race. 2A. Looking at my cheat sheet, can't even find the 7-6 boat. All right, back to the action. Put the reference sheet away. Steve Landau still in, looks like first. Got Ulf coming up the inside. Tony Gonzalez, orange 7-6 boat. We'll find out a name later. Bar Bratzer in the 6-4. Got the 105 boat. One of our East Coast contingent, I believe, in that 105 boat. Is Dave Ramos, yes, in the 105. Dave from one of our suppliers supporting the model sailing industry. We appreciate Dave for that with Chesapeake Performance Sailing. Sells a lot of parts, IOM parts, lots of other boats. Chris and Tony tangle it up a little bit. Support starboard. As we head to the windward mark and we test the limits of my borrowed camcorder. As looks like Mr. Landau in first, the 1-2 boat, big bold numbers. Sean Fiddler in second. Looks like Barb Bratzer's got into third. Fourth is a 7-6 boat. Tony Gonzalez in the 5-1 boat. So we head back downwind. It's like Dave Ramos in the 105, just ahead of Peter Feldman in the 4-4 boat. Mr. Galson coming around there in the middle of the pack, but Steve Landau, let's check back in with the leader. Steve is quarter leg ahead of people. So we've got Steve Landau trying to go wire to wire in the 1-2 boat.
I want to remind
Barb
everybody
Bratzer
we're
in the
finishing
6-4.
at the top. We are finishing at the top of the course.
There's our PRO, Shannon. Sorry, Shannon, I don't know your last name. Keeping the cats in line as the two orange boats battle for third and fourth. Got Tony Gonzalez in the 5-1 boat in fifth. Peter Feldman squeaking ahead of Dave Ramos in sixth. Got Ulf in the 3D printed Alioth. Mark Galson, 5-5 boat, clawing his way back. As Steve was to the windward mark first. Looks like he's going to get to the leeward gate first. Lots of waiting around. I got the low energy. Got to get on some Red Bull. Steve rounds first, followed by Barr in the 6-4 boat. Sean Fiddler, the 9-1 boat on the outside, and 7-6 boat on the inside. As we slog upwind, I think people feel there's a little better pressure on the outside. As we scan through the fleet, check back in with our leaders. Really need a bigger viewfinder on this thing, but Steve Land on the 1-2 tacks onto port, trying to get back over. Bar trying to gain a little bit of height on Steve. Goes a little further out. Maybe playing the shifts. Bar's gaining some height. We'll see if this move pays off. And I think it is. Now Bar tacks, and I think he got some gains on Steve there. Steve tacks back. I try to close the gap. Oh, geez, sorry. Steve tacks back. See where they cross. He didn't want to get too. Gonna cover Bar. Make sure Bar doesn't sneak out on him. Mr. Landau covers Bar in the 6-4 boat. 7-6 boat. Sean Fiddler forces him to tack, using those rules to his advantage. Starboard is king for the most part. As we head back upwind, Steve Landau builds every boat in the fleet, tunes every boat in the fleet, and then beats you anyways. So Steve just likes to punish you so he can sleep easy at night. As we head back upwind to, I believe, a finish. Sorry, I lost you. Glare here. Steve and Bar. Steve gonna push him way outside. No chance of getting above him. Not sure if this is a finish or not. Steve tacks in. I believe they're heading to the finish line. Unless they round it again, who knows. Absent-minded photographer here, videographer. Yep, that's finished. Steve Landau first. It's like Bar Bratzer in second. So I'm kind of in the middle of the line. Here, Sean Fiddler in third. Somebody got ahead of Dave Ramos, 9-1, that was Sean Fiddler. Maybe the 76 boat, then 105, Dave Ramos, Peter Feldman. I'm losing track as we got a race in the books here, 2 o'clock on a Friday. So. Here we are, another A fleet race. So I hit the button soon. This is 30 seconds to go. Sean Fiddler way out on the, what do you call that, pin end? I don't know all this sailing lingo. Got Sean down there, the 4-6 boat, which is another Sean. 03, John Lushcombe. Peter Feldman, 4-4. Up there in the middle, Mark Gollison loves the middle of the line. He does well there. Got Gary Bowl and Steve Landau fighting for the boat end here. Steve tacks early. Coming over here to the left. See if that pays off for him. Steve coming right at me. His traveling buddy from Florida, Tony Gonzalez. Road tripping. Never a quiet moment in that car with those two. We're going to plant a tape recorder, see what's going on.
I can't go because Peter's there, buddy.
head upwind, a little kerfluffle out there with Mr. Fiddler and John Leschcombe.
197.
Yeah, 197. That's what I said.
Oh, 197 to be particular.
Get it right.
As the hailing continues till morale improves. As we head upwind, Mr. Peter Feldman in the middle of the course. Got Gary Bowl in the 171 Britpop, white Britpop. I think Gary's got every color Britpop there is. I've seen blue, I've seen gray. Now we got white. Steve Landau in the 1-2 boat. Got Barb Bratzer here on the inside. Got race committee equipment blowing over in the background, which is always a good sign. Hopefully my boat's hanging in there. On the stand has a massive fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 boats. As we head up to the windward mark. Everybody battling to get on starboard. Peter crosses on port. Looks like he's gonna have to tack right in front of some folks. As we head into the windward mark for the first time, try a little zoom. As probably Mr. Sean Fiddler in the orange boat, 91. Can't see sail numbers from here with my eyeballs or my terrible lens. Peter driving down on top of Sean a little bit. You got the Michigan love tap. Says, I'm sorry. Peter rides the puff to the outside. As Steve Landau, John Leschcombe, the 03 boat, I believe. Sean in the middle of the course, Peter on the outside. Peter is one of the champions for a reason, so he's out there all by himself, doesn't have to do any maneuvering. Sean out front, hot off their trip to Australian Worlds down in Gladstone, same boat, saltwater. Sean from Michigan, never saw a plane ride he didn't like. I got Gary Bowl, 171 Britpop, keeping the Britpots alive. 105, I believe, is Dave Ramos out of Maryland. As I learned some sail numbers and boat numbers. As we head to the windward marks, way down there. Easier to see in my eyeballs versus this. Looks like Sean makes a last minute decision to go inside. John Leschcombe on the outside. This port tack is a little more lifted towards the mark. Peter goes to the outside in the 4-4, Black Viz. New RC designed sailboat, Viz One Worlds, under the thumbs of Zvonko out of Croatia. Multi-time world champion. Designs the sailboat RCs. Got a barge coming in here. Lots of action here in Corpus Christi. As Mr. Bowl comes upwind, coming up fast with Mr. Fiddler. Sean got a little close to this bulkhead, which gets a little soft. Let's see where people cross here. The starboard boats. Gonna show them some starboard love here. Got Gary and Sean crossing the fleet. Gary in the 171 Britpop. And Mr. Fiddler in the V12, I believe. Orange V12? No. Why do you? I forgot. Sean, is that the? Or is he Deuce? Maybe the Vente. Could be another V boat. They all look the same when they're on the water. Not really. Don't take anything I say seriously. As Barr and Sean cross. Now we got Mr. Ramos showing Sean some starboard love. As Gary Bowl leaps into the lead on port in the Britpop. You know, when you're out front, you can sail on any tack you want. Gary, longtime RC sailor. class champion in many class in the past. Taken up residence in Sun Valley, Idaho, the hot spot of RC sailing. He practices on his cross-country skis how to sail. And it's looking good in this race. As we head upwind, starboard boats coming through. Got Dave Ramos, got East Coast sticking together, John Lushcombe. Got Gary, the 76 boat. I got to figure out who that. They're not on any of my lists. There's an orange boat. Steve Crosses and the 1-2 boat out of Pooler, Georgia. There's Gary Tax. Little slow tack there for Gary. Back onto port. As we head up into the windward marks, and I try to keep the cam. Uh-oh. When you hear Mr. Winton, you know there's trouble. So usually calm, cool, and collected. As we head upwind, and I'm daydreaming. Tony directing traffic as usual. Tony can sail his boat, other boats, all at the same time. Give him multiple controllers, probably beat you. As we head up into the windward mark for the second time. As looks like Mr. Bowl out front in the 171. Gary touched my boat earlier, so maybe it'll be faster. Gary lays hands on all the Britpops in the fleet. Says a little prayer over them to make them go fast. So that's Gary's commitment to the Britpop. Mr. John Lushcombe in the 03 boat, followed by Barb Ratzer out of Florida. So East Coast versus Idaho right now. The hot spot of sailing in Idaho, Gary Bowl, representing the state. AMY Region 6, go Gary, that's my region. So we head downwind, John Lushcombe 03, Barb Bratzer getting passed by Dave Ramos in the 105. The unknown sailor of 7-6, the unknown sailor, followed by 2-5, Peter Feldman in 6th place, Sean Fiddler in 7th in the 9-1 boat, Steve Lando in 8th, 27, Barry Donaher out of another sailing hotspot, Utah. He's got no members of his club and no place to sail, so Barry has to drive or get on a plane to sail. Gives our Swedish Floridian Ulf a run for his money there in the 112 Alioth boat, blue with the yellow stripe in the middle. Lots of hot plastic glued together as we head down to the windward marks, and my old eyes cannot see any longer. As Mr. Bowl comes to the inside, Barb Ratzer goes the outside, Dave Ramos the inside. Is it Mr. Fiddler to the inside? So a pretty good split of the fleet here. We'll see who pays off. Gary was in the lead. See if the inside pays. The orange 7-6 boat actually went to the inside. Sean Fiddler and the other orange boat went to the outside. As they cross the fleet here on starboard, got Gary Bowl and 171, Dave Ramos 105. Dave Ramos repairing RMG winches in his hotel room last night, getting Mark Olson up and running again. As we head upwind, starboard boats crossing. Gary was in the lead, but starboard's going to win, forcing everybody to attack. So Gary getting to cover the fleet. Gary, a crafty big boat sailor in his younger days, probably still pretty crafty in his old age, but take care of him. As Gary leads the parade in to the finish, past the barge. He's got Mr. Barbratzer here on the outside he's got to worry about. There's Bar, the 6'4" boat. As we head up to the finish, leaders staying pretty close together, pretty tight here. Got Mr. Dave Ramos here on the outside, probably going to get to starboard sooner rather than later, but stays in contact with the fleet, doesn't go on a flyer, forces John to tack under him, says find some starboard love. Hey, there's a little more starboard love, Peter. As John and Peter have to tack under Dave, and Dave works his way into second place. Got Gary Bowl out front in the 171. Dave Ramos out of Maryland. Second place, John Lushcombe. Sean Fiddler roaring up the middle on port. Gary has to react or Sean's going to run away with it. Gary gets onto port. As we head up to the finish line, we're finishing in between the windward mark and the offset. It's usually good for separate fleets to have a different finish line. The boat calls them out. As I lose touch with everybody, sorry, I'm sitting on a wall trying to balance. As what is happening up here? Gary Bowl gets on to starboard. Looks like Gary gets in first, Bar gets on second. Some definite maneuvering up there. Not the best angle to watch the finish line from. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe you can slow it down and zoom in. That was some tight racing by our leaders here in the A fleet. As the A fleet comes on in. All right, time to get ready for the B fleet. All right, we're off. Last A fleet race of the day. Majority of the fleet switched to B rigs. A couple still out there in A. As we head upwind, B rigs went on, and the wind died. Chris Macaluso back in the A rig. He was on the B rig earlier. Back to A. Try the whole alphabet. The A might pay off. As Chris forces Mike Feldman to
I got starboard tacker, Sean.
as we head upwind. Second to last time of the day. B rigs are out. B for bobbin. It's like Mr. Fiddler out in front, but he's pretty low. Got Mark Dawson in the middle, Peter and Gary in the middle. The black boat and the white boat. Peter, dark helmet, Feldman, 4-4. Gary in the 171. As we head upwind, maybe watch this group of guys tack as they head over to the ley line. Who's gonna go? First. Hard to see who tacked. As Sean coming in on port. Threading the needle. At least they're not doing it right at the buoy. little farther down the line. As A Fleet's pretty close in touch here. Who snuck out front? Can't see. Looks like Mr. Mark Allison, the 5.5, followed by Peter Feldman in the 4.4, followed by a blue boat where I can't read the number. Blue boat. Let's super zoom in. 03 boat. That's Mr. John Lushcombe in third place. So, doing his sail number. As we watch Mark head downwind, Peter Feldman in second, Mr. Bart Bratzer in the A rig, just puffing his way. Downwind, gaining some ground, which is kind of what you'd expect. Well, you never know. We had a B rig win against a bunch of A rigs last time. Like we're kind of on the edge as Mark heads downwind pretty good. The 5.5 boat, the Vickers 11.5, very smooth. And Peter Feldman bar still chewing away at Mark's lead as we head down in Leeward marks. Mark rounds first. Stall. Oh no. Is that Mark? Bar. Somebody stalled out. Awesome. Sorry. I'm trying to get my glasses on so I can see better. All right. Back to racing. Got Peter Feldman on the outside. Probably Sean Bradley in the 4.6 boat, previously known as a sailor with no name. Followed by the 0.3 boat of John Lushcombe. Peter tacks onto port. Mark on starboard. Let's see where they cross. Yeah, I guess Mark went on the inside. Mark was in the lead. Mark decides to tack underneath Peter. Some little cooperative sailing. Figure they'd go faster together. No reason to die on that hill when you're first and second place in the middle of the lead. Look for better opportunities. As leaders head upwind. We got Bar Bratz in the 6.4 boat, cranking along, pointing good. In his A rig, doing battle with the B rigs. As Bar, I don't know, Peter's a lot higher. It's too hard to tell, but he did get in front of John in the 0.3 boat, cross in front of them. Sean Bradley in the 4.6 having a duck bar. Peter on a mission to come in on port, which looks like a good play when you're out front. You can be aggressive on board because there's nobody to avoid. So sailing 101, get out front and don't let anybody pass you. It's kind of the way it should work as Peter just tacks up the middle. There's Peter, Peter and John maybe. The angle's hard to see. Pelican swooping through. Peter doing the slow tacky road up the middle. Mark bangs the edges and gets there first. There's the B rig. As we head back downwind. got Mark in first, Peter in second, Sean Bradley in third. I'm saying that's 03, Mr. Lushcombe in fourth, maybe? I don't know. Whoa, just takes an odd line there. Shooting to the inside. Mr. Bratzer doing his downwind trick again. Amazing what sail area can do for you. As Barr rocketing into third place. Passing Mr. Bradley very easily. Got Peter in second. Mark Gollison in third. As Mark makes it to the leeward marks first. It's Mark going inside. Interesting. Let's see where Peter goes. Well, the tacks come across the fleet on starboard. Peter going outside. So Mark covering Peter handily, potentially. Barr, so I lost Barr. Barr in third. Going the inside. Sean Bradley going the inside. John Lushcombe going the inside. Sean, late decision fiddler, going to the inside. And Gary Bull in sixth, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last race of the evening. Things are getting a little dusky here. Let's see if Barr can pinch it up the middle. Got Barr in third-ish place. We've got Mark Gollison in first. Peter in second. Who's this yellow boat snuck in there? Who is that? Mr. Tony Gonzalez. Tony Eagle Eyes Gonzalez. Can read the date on a penny at 50 yards. We're heading back upwind for the second time. Mark Gollison out in front, followed by Peter Feldman, followed by Barr Bratzer, and Sean Bradley. Some starboard boats coming in, forcing these guys to tack or luff. It's your choice. Tony gets the short end of the stick on that, but he's a little higher now. Sean Fiddler, good head of steam. Got Gary Bull scratching at 3, 7, 8th place. Got Steve, big block number Landau, the 1-2 boat coming up. Let's reposition a little bit. As Mark's on starboard, heading to the mark, should be high enough. Peter Feldman going fast and low, but gonna have to throw another tack in there to make it. But I think he'll be on his own, so won't have to navigate many other boats. Oh, that was a finish. What am I thinking? So Mark in first, Peter in second. Our small, teeny tiny finish line. What else is in there? Mr. Bratzer in third, maybe? Sean Bradley in fourth. Tony Gonzalez fifth. John Lushcombe in sixth. Our crowd. Where's our crowd favorite, Gary Bull? Here he comes. Assignment. Mr. Fiddler got in front. Gary crossing the finish line. That's where we're heading into this last A fleet race of the day. Boys are ready to go to the bar. Get something going. That's a wrap from Friday night, Corpus Christi, day 2. As everybody goes through, here's our leader, Mr. Mark, with his victory lap for the pleasing the fans. Mark doing a flyby.